I don't know. I don't know whether it has any impact or what that impact is. I think that television is changing, and that the way that stories are being told is evolving. That what was acceptable 10 years ago, things like Harvey, which we were doing, what, 4 or 5 years ago, you're starting to see that mode of storytelling appear in things like 6 Feet Under. That there's a more of a nonlinear style of storytelling, which we were doing, I think, just maybe slightly ahead of the curve, but I don't know whether we had any influence or whether we were being influenced by films. I think Farscape is an interesting piece, and it has a unique voice. Whether that voice has any influence on the rest of the industry, I would have no idea about. The most important thing for me out of Farscape is what it did for me personally in terms of relationships, in terms of living in Australia, in terms of my creative interaction with people. That, you know, I'm either on the phone or emailing to people who are far, far away in a distant universe called Australia. And then the other thing is that whatever it was that we created while we're doing Farscape, because we worked in this vacuum, far away from anybody who was watching it, the story we were telling found an audience, and then in the process of becoming exposed to the audience, you realize how important the audience is in the storytelling process. There's a great tendency amongst people who are telling the story to get ahead of themselves and thinking that they're geniuses, and we're giving this to people who may get it or may not get it. Now, what I've discovered is that I think, on the whole, our audience may be smarter than we are, and we're damn lucky that we managed to produce anything that that would even come close to meeting their expectations. It's an interesting communal process, storytelling. Whether it's me sitting here talking to you, you know, and trying to relay this information, or a huge film or television production, trying to tell a cohesive story which is either going to make you laugh or cry or touch you intellectually or in some form. And it's just, I'm fascinated by the communal process, and I think that Farscape, if I didn't know that before, having gone to school in England and drama school, learning with an audience in front of me, Farscape has taught me, 15 years later, that the audience is the most critical component of the story. There's no point in telling a story unless you're telling it for the audience. And so, does that make sense?
Yes, that's a good
See,
answer.
it's hard to tell a cohesive story. I don't know how to soundbite things about Farscape. Farscape is a very complex thing to try to explain to people, either the way we made it or the story itself. If you sit down and you try to tell someone, all right, this is Farscape. Tell me what Farscape is in less than 10 words or less than a paragraph, and you're going to miss, probably by a mile, what most people's actual perception of it is. I don't know. It's a complex thing to try to explain to people, and I'm sure you guys have found that when you go, you should watch this show, and they go, what's it about? It's about, oh boy, here we go. And my experience is that way a great deal. That Farscape changed my life. How do you explain that?